which is the information and warning you get wherever you go in the world. When it comes to the beaches, they all belong to the government and therefore are public. So you could be pestered by hawkers, but just a polite no thank you and they'll be on their way. So this does mean you can go and use the beach in front of any hotel you like, but you're not allowed to use the facilities that the beach put out. So if it's a beach sun lounger, you can't use it. The Cancun beaches received a major facelift in 2010 to repair some erosion damage caused by the hurricanes and tropical storms. Around that time there was a really big hurricane that hit the area and one or two hotels took a right battering and some didn't have a beach left, really, to be perfectly frank. And while I was out there, there was a hurricane on the Pacific side of Mexico, which I'm not sure you know, 2 British people are reported missing from there. Hurricanes are something which you should be aware of when you visit the area during the hurricane season, 1st of June to the 30th of November. And if you're travelling this time, I recommend that you use a package holiday trip and don't try and do it on your own. I didn't use a package holiday, and if the hurricane had been on our side of Mexico, then I could have been in serious financial difficulty if the hotel was ruined and it was before I went. Let me explain. If you buy things separately, then the airport is open. The airline doesn't care if your hotel has been destroyed by a hurricane. They can still complete their part of the contract, which is to fly you from the UK to Cancun. If you're in a package holiday and the hotel's been destroyed, it's down to the tour company to either give you your money back or find an alternative accommodation. The areas that was hit by the hurricane are now closed until probably the middle of October. So if the airport's open and all the hotels are closed, you've got flights but you've got nowhere to stay. But if it's a package holiday and there's nowhere open, then you'll get your money back. So I do recommend, even if you're a seasoned traveller, that you use a package holiday when you're travelling anywhere in a hurricane zone during the hurricane season. I was aware of the problem. I was ready to take the financial hit. I had enough money left on my credit card if I needed to change hotels or pay for flights to get out. But package holidays does make life a lot easier. You can find out more about Cancun when you look at my blog at johnguinn.me. Guinn is spelled Guinn, where I'll be putting up a blog covering notes on Cancun I've already talked through, plus 1 or 2 little bits I don't have time to share with you right now. You're listening to the John Guinn Travel Show on seclosounds.org. Seclo Sounds exists to bring people and communities together to celebrate all that's best about the city of Milton Keynes. We produce a variety of music and speech programs, and you've heard some of the promos in this show, and we're produced by local people and run by over 60 volunteers. However, there's always room for more, so if you have a program idea or a skill that you want to offer, please send us an email to volunteers@seclosounds.org. And of course, as we're all volunteers, we can't operate without the help from our partners, and one such partner is Interaction. Seclo Sounds is based at the old rectory, which is the home of Interaction MK. They've been bringing arts to life in Milton Keynes for over 35 years. They use the arts to improve the life chances of disabled people and others in challenging circumstances through shared created activity. Their programs help participants to develop creative, personal and social skills. To find out more, please visit them at www.interactionmk.org.uk. You're listening to the John Guinn Travel Show on seclosounds.org. And now, travel news. Extra fees to cough up when you're flying can upset even the most placid of traveller. And some little bit of bad news for travellers, I guess, as a European court has ruled that airlines can continue to charge customers to check in their luggage. The European Court of Justice said it was acceptable for airlines to charge a supplement as the airlines incurred extra costs storing and processing checked-in luggage. But it did say, which is good news to the traveller, that hand baggage was necessary for passengers, so they should not be charged for carry-on bags, which is great news. So it's mixed use for low-cost carriers, because they come as a relief that they can still charge for checked-in luggage. But then, because they rely on the fees to bulk up their earnings, because they sell the seats far too cheaply, but it's bad news for them too, because they can't decide to charge you for your carry-on. It was a challenge by the Spanish budget carrier Vueling Airlines against a Spanish law that prohibits airlines from charging for checking in baggage, and the court ruled in favour of the airline. The airline was given a €3,000 fine by Spanish authorities for adding €40 to the basic price of 4 tickets bought by one passenger flying from Spain to Amsterdam. So the Spanish court referred the case to Luxembourg to see if it complied with EU law on pricing, and it turned out that it didn't, and the airlines can charge. When you fly, are you the sort of person who just relies on carry-on luggage? My wife can't. It's a real palaver trying to get everything we need into the suitcases we paid for, let alone just trying to stuff it into a bag to carry on. But what about you? Do you have tips about how to travel lightly? Share them. Facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. Now news about Airbnb. If you're not sure what Airbnb is, it's a website that allows people to rent out rooms or homes to travellers. And I know a few people who've used it for travel, and they've had a bargain and a great time and a nice, clean place to stay. It does cause a problem in New York. The hotels are unhappy with it because, of course, residents who rent out their rooms don't have to pay for all the taxes and stuff, the costs that hotels have to comply with local laws. And it does look like people in New York can't rent out their homes because it does contravene local law. And it also caused a problem in San Francisco, but that's now been changed because the city of San Francisco could gain around about $11 million a year because Airbnb is going to start collecting taxes from customers who book rentals in the San Francisco area, and that's starting from October. The $11 million a year is an estimate by SF Gate. Airbnb is believed to be worth $10 billion, which is an awful lot of money when all they seem to do is take money and distribute to people who rent out and take a cut. So they obviously got a great business model there. So it's going to start beginning to collect transient occupancy tax, but it didn't clarify whether it's going to pay back taxes for the 6 years it's been operating in the area. So when you go onto the Airbnb booking platform, an extra item will be displayed on the booking page, highlighting the 14% tax you have to pay. How this compares with hotel prices, I'm not too sure yet. I'll have to wait until it goes live and do a comparison to see whether it's worth it or not. But the San Francisco Treasurer, José Cisneros, said that Airbnb and other similar booking platforms have the same obligations as the hotels to collect and remit taxes. Of course, some people feel that they're not a hotel, they're simply a homeowner. But if you have a transient occupy your space in San Francisco for a fee, you need to pay the occupancy tax. And the last bit on the news item I got from Travel Mole says that San Francisco's 34,000 hotel rooms generated $310 million in hotel taxes during the tax year of 2013 to 14. Have you used Airbnb? As I've already mentioned, I know people have and had a great time. What's your experience? And as taxes start getting added around the various American states, I'm sure that New York will follow. What do you believe? Do you believe the taxes should be paid because you're staying as a resident, a transient resident, or do you believe that they should be tax-free? I'm guessing if anybody's going to have an opinion, it's going to be for tax-free. But anyway, let me know. Facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. Well, we've come to the end of this week's travel show. Did I mention I've just come back from Mexico? I'm not sure if I brought that up or not. So I've covered about Secret Silversands Resort in Riviera Cancun, as well as great food. I've also learned about outstanding customer service, but I have shared stuff with them too. They now know how to make a painkiller cocktail, and they know an awful lot more about vegan diets. Where have you been on your summer holiday this year? Did you have a good experience or a bad experience? Let us know and share some pictures at facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. Let's see if we have any tips. Or perhaps you haven't planned your break for this year yet. You're just waiting until October, November before you go away. If you haven't booked and you're undecided, let me know and I will do my best to get somebody to represent that area on the show so you can find out more about it before you book. The whole point of the show is to share travel information and find the right places for you to travel to and the right methods of booking, and also to protect you, consumer protection. So you can leave any message, inquiry at facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. And as I mentioned, I'll be posting a blog on johnguinn.me covering what I've explained about Cancun on this show, plus and also a little bit more, which I didn't have time to share with you this week. So that's John Guinn, GUINN.me, to find out more about Cancun. And hopefully you can join me next time on the John Guinn Travel Show on seclosounds.org, where every week I'm checking it out before you check in.
MK Pulse proudly sponsors Seclo Sounds. MK Pulse is Milton Keynes' local magazine, bringing helpful information on food, health, fashion, money, travel, culture, and much more to 66,000 readers every month. Plus news, views, and what's on from around the city. If it's happening in Milton Keynes, it's in MK Pulse, and it's available online at www.mkpulse.co.uk. MK Pulse and Seclo Sounds, the heart and soul of the city.